This is the Boise, the Tier 6 American Premium Cruiser. I've heard in the past that this is a great ship, but when I have come across them in battle, I've not really been too impressed. But now that I have one, it's time to check it out and see what it's all about. So let's check out the setup of the ship and the commander, who is Norman Scott. His base trait is Directed Impact, increases the shell grouping of your cruiser's main guns. As for inspirations, I have Luchin's Gimlet, increases the AP shell damage of your cruiser. And then I have Yamamoto Right Through, enhances the armor piercing capabilities of your cruiser's shells. As for the skills, I have Beyond Range, increases the main battery range of your cruiser. The second skill is Igniter, increases the chance of causing a fire with your cruiser's main or secondary battery HE shells. Third skill is Punch Through, increases the armor piercing capabilities and maximum damage of your cruiser's AP shells. And the last skill, the fourth skill, is Fixated, increases the main battery shell grouping of your cruisers and improves the main battery accuracy for any ship type. So this is basically an accuracy build for the American cruisers. As for the legendary skill, I have them ranked up to legendary rank 3. I've selected Refill Station. It reduces the reload time of your cruiser's main batteries. Also, the range of the cruiser's main guns is increased by 10% when you're in the range of an allied ship to activate the special effect, and that range is 2.75 kilometers. When you fully rank Norman Scott up to legendary rank 4, the range to the allied ship will increase up to 3.5 kilometers. Okay, so let's take a look at the upgrades for the Boise. First upgrade is Aiming Systems Mod 1. Dispersion of the main battery is improved by 7%. Torpedo launcher traverse speed is improved by 20%. And the secondary battery firing range and its dispersion is improved by 5% respectively. Second upgrade is Steering Gears Mod 2. Rudder shift time is improved by 20%. And the last upgrade is Steering Gears Mod 3. Rudder shift time is improved by another 40%, and the steering gear repair time is improved by 80%. So let's take a look at the loadout. You have your normal ammunition, high explosive shells, and armor piercing shells, which we'll get to later. As for the consumables, you have the normal damage control party consumable. Duration is 5 seconds, reload time is 57 seconds, and there is an unlimited number of these consumables. The second consumable is either the sonar or the defensive AA fire. I'm not really sure who would select that, but I've selected the sonar. Detection of torpedoes is 3 kilometers. Detection of ships is 4 kilometers. Duration is 100 seconds with a reload time of 171 seconds, and there are 2 of these consumables. And then you have your normal repair party consumable, which will partially restore the ship's HP by repairing any light damage at the rate of 665 hit points per second. The duration is 20 seconds and the reload time is 76 seconds, and you have 2 of those consumables. And you can see that I have all the boosters going here. I've especially selected the Epic Battle Booster to make sure I get maximum range of the main guns. The ship comes with a Type 9 permanent premium camouflage. Sea detectability and incoming fire dispersion is improved by 4.5% respectively. And then here I have the silver flag set up because its glare might just blind your enemies. As I still think the first salvo that you receive during any match is going to be a big miss on the incoming dispersion. So I'm not 100% sure if it works, but it seems like it works more often than not. So for now, I'm sticking with the silver flag. As for the stats, survivability is 33,300. Armor is 6 to 165 millimeters. As for the artillery, you have 15 guns, 3 guns and 5 turrets. Firing range is 16.5 kilometers. Reload time is 9.3 seconds. Traverse time is 18 seconds. Maximum HE shell damage is 2,200 at a 15% chance of setting fire, AP shell damage is 3656, and you will get citadel hits on other cruisers with the Boise, and you will start fires pretty quick, as it turns out, as well with the HE shells. Secondary armament is nothing to write home about. It's 4.7 kilometers, which I guess is kind of average for a cruiser. Reload time is 4.5 seconds with a 1800 damage with a 12% chance of setting fire. Here are your Aaa defenses. Looks like a fair amount of AA. Maneuverability, maximum speed is 30.9 knots. Turning circle radius is not that great, actually, at 690 meters. At least I don't think it's that great. Rudder shift time is 4.4 seconds, which is okay. Concealment is 11.5 kilometers by sea, 7.2 kilometers by air. Let's take a look at the armor. You do see the turrets are kind of protected. Looks like there's some citadel protection there, but there is a lot of blue and gray of very light armor. So let's remove that armor and take a look at the citadel. And you can see the citadel is sitting above the water, but there's a blue just below the water, so you can get completely devastated here if you get hit in that area. Also, the fact that the orange citadel is sitting above the water is not all that great. In general, I think you want to pretty much play from cover anyway, as you will see in the highlights, even though we do some open water battle. As for the overview, agile, above average ability to change direction, and that is great. Nimble aim, above average main battery traverse speed, gives an edge in close quarters combat. Modest gun. The ship is armed with low caliber main battery guns, but there are 15 of them, so there is that. The Boise is a Brooklyn class light cruiser. Her main battery consisted of 15 rapid fire 152 millimeter guns. In the 1940s, the cruiser carried numerous automatic AA mounts. Entered service in 1938, and there were 7 ships in the series. Alright, well that's it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard battle and check out some highlights. Alright, so we're in standard, we're in crash zone, and the first part of the video we're going to show here is the open water maneuverability and battle ability of the Boise, as I mentioned. And we did get a quick destruction on that destroyer right there, and so I've lined up this Nuremberg. I've got AP selected. I'm looking for citadel hits, and there's a citadel hit on the Nuremberg. You can see that the battle is completely loaded with cruisers, so I have no problem apparently going out in the open water like this with a bunch of when I'm opposing a bunch of cruisers. If this was all battleships, there's no way I would do this, because I'm sure I would get obliterated. But for some reason, the Boise seems to hold its own against cruisers, and that was kind of an important thing to highlight, I thought. So here we did get a second destruction on that Graf Spee, and I'm targeting this Nuremberg, and he is kind of nose on, so I don't really expect any more citadel hits, but I didn't want to take the time to switch back to HE, so I stuck with the armor-piercing shells, and this Nuremberg is looking kind of thin. He's not going to be around much longer, and those 15 guns in the 5 turrets really do make a difference. There is a third destroyed ship, and that is some great open water action, which I really normally do not do in any cruiser. So here is Two Brothers, sort of everybody's favorite map, it seems like. I hated it at first, but it seems like I'm doing most of my highlight videos in Two Brothers. So I guess now I can say that Two Brothers has been good to me, and this game is no exception. So I'm going to start out slow. The one thing you definitely do not want to do in Two Brothers is march right out there into open water. You will get completely wiped out in the kill zone that pretty much exists on both sides for anybody in a capital ship, like a battleship, aircraft carrier for sure, Probably, I guess, even cruiser, even though I don't think it would necessarily be considered a capital ship. Any ship larger than a destroyer that ventures out like that, you're going to get wiped out. So I tend to stay back at the beginning of the match. And here you can see I'm targeting a Bayern. These other ships are going out and basically doing what I say you don't want to do. So we'll see how this works out for them. But I do know, I have a Bayern and it's pretty susceptible to catching fire. So I've stuck with the HE shells here, and I'm targeting this Bayern with those shells, hoping to start some fires. There is a fire that gets started right there. And we're going to take some more shots and look to start some more fires. And even though I am being spotted, I believe I am kind of covered with these islands that I'm snuggled in between here. I am backing up. Like I said, you definitely don't want to go out there at this point yet. So 2 fires started, and they are starting to rack up on the damage is racking up on the Bayern. And there is a 3rd fire. So he is in a little bit of trouble, it would seem. And there are a lot of shatters going on with the Bayern right now. All those shells are shatters, but I'm sacrificing penetration for potential of setting fires. And yep, I'm still backing up. And I am looking to go forward now because I think the Bayern is kind of vulnerable. There's 2 battleships out there, so I've got some good protection. I've got the battleships between myself and the Bayern and those other red team ships. Looks like a cruiser did get destroyed already. I'm assuming it was a cruiser on that side of the map. And I'm still taking some shots at him. He is starting to angle away, so these shots are a little bit tougher. And I've decided to back up again. I didn't really want to go out there at this point, as it turns out, but I will start venturing forward as soon as the Bayern goes behind this island. And there is a 4th fire on the Bayern, but it looks like he put it out already. So 4 fires out of 61 hits, 72 hits. And now that he is going behind that island, I am going to start venturing out a little bit. And I'm going to check out my options between Bayern and I believe that was a Dallas cruiser over there. But auto aim says I do have a shot, so we're going to see if I get some more hits. Looks like that Dallas got taken out. As did the Bayern, I believe. So we're going to come around here and take a look at this King George on the red team's capture area. He is just staying back there, kind of protecting the flag. So we're going to go over there and see if we could inflict some damage on the King George. It doesn't seem like there's much risk of the red team coming up from the other side of Two Brothers, so I'm kind of ignoring that for the moment. Here you can see, unbelievably, it looks like for a while we did have a shot over all of those islands according to auto aim. So I took some shots. We'll see if we get some hits. Yeah, nothing yet. There still is an island indicator, but as I start moving around here, you're going to see the island indicator will disappear, and I will get some shots onto King George from behind this cover here. And there it looks like there's a Fushan, and I believe I saw a Dallas, so I have to be mindful of watching that flank to make sure that I don't get surprised by the red team coming up and capturing this flag when we're trying to take their flag. So you could easily lose the game if the wrong thing happens there. So I am keeping an eye on that. And it looks like there were 2 King Georges in the game. The other King George we were looking at earlier, I think, was a little farther to the right behind the island. But here I've got this King George targeted. I'm waiting for the island indicator to disappear, so the island will not be blocking my shot just a little bit more. And there, looks like I do have a shot according to auto aim, so we're going to see what happens. Almost all of those shells clear. So now I'm assuming the King George is going to start going forward. So I'm adjusting my aim to compensate for that. And as I'm taking these shots, he still does not see me because I'm behind cover of this island. So that is awesome. The fact that the Boise has overarching fire like this is definitely to a great advantage from shooting behind cover.
Our team has taken the lead.
So now I'm looking at this other King George. That was a King George over there, and he is full health. So this is a prime target, but I'm gonna, weigh my odds between looking at the King George here and making sure that the base stays protected. And you can see in the mini-map, there are a couple cruisers that are starting to encroach on the blue base. So in short order, I'm gonna turn around and go back and try to help out the destroyer that's over there defending the base. These two battleships and cruiser on the friendly blue team definitely should have this taken care of, have this covered. So now, as I said, I am turning around to go back to the blue base, and I'm going to continue to take some shots at the King George while the opportunity is still there as I'm turning around and going back to the base. There is another fire. So we started 5 fires, 27,000 damage, and climbing. And there is a Fushan that looks like it's starting to take the base. And the only ship over there, I believe, is a Ranger. There's a Leander there. And I believe our destroyer is over there as well. So we're going to go back and try to meet up with those guys and defend the blue base. And here, unbelievably, we still have a clean shot. The island indicator just showed up right there, but for a while we did have some clean shots on the King George over this island. So that is unbelievable. And we got a hit. It was a shatter, but that was still a potential of starting a fire, so I will definitely take that. So as I'm closing up here on the Dallas, eventually you're going to see that I'm going to switch from HE to armor-piercing shells, and I'm going to be looking to get some citadel hits on these cruisers here, especially this cruiser, the Dallas. So he is turning away, and this angle is very difficult even when you're trying to rely on auto aim. You really have to do the best you can do, and many times it really doesn't work out. So you only really have good opportunities with auto aim when there is a broadside. And I think, yeah, that's a Fushan, and you will see that the Fushan is going to launch some torpedoes in my direction, and I do a super expert job at avoiding those torpedoes. There is a lot of skill involved in the first set of torpedoes that I avoid, so you definitely want to watch out for that. So here he's just lumbering around in the base here, and he did start his smoke, but I still have a view on him, and there are these torpedoes. Here is the expert dodging maneuver that I did to avoid these torpedoes. That is really something. Another salvo of torpedoes is going to come up here, and it will be a lot more involved. So that will actually require a little bit of skill. These torpedoes were easy to avoid. And here this Dallas has got a great broadside, but I've got HE, so I don't have any citadel chances, I don't believe. And that looked like a big miss right there. So when I took those shots, it looked like I was doing pretty well, but this Fushan is just sitting here in the cap. He's just, he's moving around right now, but for a while he was just sitting there. And there are the torpedoes that are coming, and these torpedoes are a little bit more involved, and for a second I thought I was going to get hit by at least one torpedo, but right at the last second I'm able to avoid them, so that was awesome. I guess the steering gears are good enough to take care of that, and those HE shells were good enough to take care of that. So now this is a great broadside, and I realize that the HE was loaded and I should have had AP. So now I've switched over, and in a couple seconds I'm going to get to fire on this guy with the armor-piercing shells and look for some citadel hits, but not really going to be able to get citadel hits at this angle. Got to wait for quite a bit more of a broadside. That was a bad estimation of where the Dallas is going to be right there. So whatever you do, don't make an aim like that. That was terrible. So we're just going to wait for the Dallas to come around this island here. And we definitely have this match won. There's really no doubt about that. The only question is, will I be able to get the Dallas and destroy the ship, and better yet, will I get some citadel hits? So as you saw in the open water part of the video, we did get a citadel hit on a Nuremberg. So what about the Dallas? There is another bad aim. Like I said, you don't want to do this, but I think this next aim is going to get it done. So there you go. Only the first two turrets fire, and 2 citadel hits and a destruction. So that is awesome. 52,000 damage. And that is about it for this battle in Two Brothers. It's a victory with 480,000 credits, 52,000 damage, 147 main gun hits, 2 destroyed ships, 8 fires, which is not bad. That is some great fire setting. 2 citadel hits, 5 defended flags. You can see we have some pretty good XP numbers for the ship XP, global XP, and commander XP. That's what happens when you run those epic boosters that I was running. Well, look at that, 2100 XP. A lot of people like to look at 3000 as the benchmark, but this was first place in the match, so I'll take it. And by the time it was all said and done, look at the economy tab here. 402,000 silver credits that we cleared by the time it was all said and done. Well, that's it for the Boise. I certainly have a different opinion of the ship now, and it is quite fun to play even in the open water, as you saw. And the 15 main guns, I think, really make a difference. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.